Watts, he made me hot. All work to me to the Michael Watts, he made me hot. All work to me, Michael Watts, he made me hot. All work to me to the top. Michael Watts, he made me hot. Michael Watts, he made me hot. Michael Watts, he made me hot. All work to me to the Michael Watts, he made me hot. All work to me, Michael Watts, he made me hot. All work to me to the top. Michael Watts, he made me hot. Michael Watts, he made me hot.
Welcome to PGTV Podcast, where we bring you real life stories from real life people, one episode at a time. Today, I have the honor and the privilege again to bring to you another Houston innovator who has become a national as well as international household name, because I know they over there chopping it up right now. This brother has been on the wheels of steel and in executive meetings being a top-notch record exec. He has brought you some of the hottest names in the game that you recognize, from Slim Thug to Pow Wow, CHAMILLIONAIRE, Archie Lee, Kuda Bang, Mike Jones, one of my favorite, Magno. I like Magno. Magno used to go off. And a slew of others that I can't really recall right now because the list is great and I don't want to miss anybody, but I wanted to get those names out there because, and Mario, you know Mario. So this brother has done some great things when others didn't even see that it could be done, electing to find other players in the game that could help get the name SWISHA House to the next level by way of working together. As my brother Lester Pace say, as a team, because it takes team to make the dream become a real thing. So without further ado, I want to welcome my brother, Michael 5000 Watts. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
It's a blessing, an honor, and a privilege to have you, man. I appreciate you for coming. And we're going to get right into it because I know you're busy, man, and you got things you need to do. But I want to first say, what made you fall in love with DJing?
Listening to Lester.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a mix show DJ. So when Lester brought hip hop to the radio, it's just like I've been in every kind of part of that culture. You know, before I started DJing, I used to be a break dancer. You know, and then after I heard Lester mixing on KTSU, something about that I wanted to do that. I wanted to be able to blend and mix and do what it was, you know. I made a living off of making mixtapes because the stuff they played on the radio, they didn't have it in the record store. Right. But I made the mixtapes and I had all the music. So I was in high school making the mixtapes.
Okay. So did you know Lester before the mixing, or you just picked up listening to him and became to know who he is?
Yeah, I picked up listening to him on KTSU and got to know who he was afterwards.
Okay. And ironic, you got a chance to be a part and meet and be able to grow with him and participate in some things as he journeyed on higher.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's a blessing. So now let me ask you this. How did the name SWISHA House come about?
Okay. I used to call my studio, I used to call my mixes when I started doing the slow down mixes. I didn't want to call them screw mixes.
Right.
I called them SWISHA mixes. Okay. And I called my studio the SWISHA House. Okay. So that's how I came up with the name.
Okay, that's how you came up with the name.
Yeah.
What was it you think that attracted guys to your sound or to what you were doing as far as rappers are concerned? How do you think you were able to command that magnetism or that attraction for so many diverse, different types of rappers with different flows, man, to come and say they want to be a part of that team?
This was something I've been developing and growing for years. You know, even before I started working with the rappers, I've been making mixtapes since I was in middle school. Okay. So through middle school and high school, I was selling a lot of mixtapes out there on the north side, and the name started growing and it got popular. And then by the time I made a studio, man, I always let people come out and rap and stuff, you know. Matter of fact, my man I used to work with, G-Dash used to actually rap on my tapes when I was in high school.
Okay. See, I heard of G-Dash. I didn't know G-Dash rap. I always thought G-Dash was just executive from them, you know, the guy saying his name, you know, write the check and stuff like that. Yeah. So G-Dash was, so pretty much a lot of us started rapping.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
You know, we evolved into other things, but the rap was the attraction for us. That what got us into the move of it all, because the rap was the strength of it all at the time. Even though the break beats that made us dance and move, we wanted to be able to say what we wanted to say. Is that a safe thing to say?
I think it's a safe thing to say.
Okay.
And then everybody's always looking for that opportunity to break, you know what I mean?
Right.
And me doing the mixtapes back in the 80s and early 90s, it was an opportunity for artists to break.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you first start, outside of DJing, slowing the music down or making it a type of a thing? Did you always slow it down, or you came into that?
No, I did not. I always did regular speed mixes in the 80s and the early 90s.
Okay.
And in the mid 90s, I started doing slow down mixtapes because, screw tapes were really popular on there. But of course, if you was from the north side, it was nothing that you heard in the screw tape that represented for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For the north, yeah.
So my friends in Rosewood, they literally begged me to do one. They begged me to do one. I mean, they literally were begging me for a couple of years.
Them was the hot boys back then over there.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, them was the hot boys.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
But they begged me to do one for a couple of years before I finally did one. And one day I just broke down and said, fuck it. I just did one for them. I just did it for them just to satisfy them. And mixtape was just so popular. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just stuck with it, you know?
Okay, and it became a thing.
Yeah, it became a thing.
Okay, so how did you look to create a business from that? Just being able to take your talent to a business.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really wasn't doing it just for the business. I started doing it because I love it, and it turned into a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of guys attracting to it, and you felt like, okay, well, we have to do something, because it's a lot of us now. We need to make something happen, as far as, because we can't just keep, just doing it for the love of it. We have to do something to benefit us.
It just grew into the business.
Okay.
Like I said, man, like the mixtape started making money. I started making more money doing the mixtape. So I started pressing it. So the guys were selling the mixtape. So they was making money off the mixtapes when they was selling it. And I was already DJing and doing private gigs and stuff and working on the radio and everything. And it just grew into a business. It's a hobby that grew into a business.
Okay, that's understood. So how did you factor in who you would have as a partner or a business partner organically, or was it just came about? How did you meet your counterparts to make it, even go into a business?
Everybody just came in as family, I met Ron C at the radio station. So it's growing and I needed the help. And Ron C came over to help me with the mixtape.
So you were DJing at 97?
Yeah, I was DJing 97 on the box. This right here was the mid 90s, early 90s. And Ron C was working in the promotion department. And I'm up on the radio, I'm mixing and stuff. And these mixtapes, that, like I said, they're getting out of hand. It's more than I can do. I can't, I needed some help. So I asked Ron to come by there and help me, and they end up developing and growing into what it is.
Right, into what it is.
Yeah.
So who were one of the first artists that you worked with, being under the newfound title that you created, SWISHA House?
SWISHA House. The first artist there was, wow, it's so crazy. When I started listening to the actual tapes and putting them on the app, I realized that, shit, man, I've been doing SWISHA House shit since like damn near like 90, 94, something like that. And before I even named it SWISHA House, Ron, I had artists from Acres Home, like Lil Plug, Bebe was on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy. But when I started doing the SWISHA House stuff and labeling it as SWISHA House, Archie Lee and Lester Roy were some of the first artists. And I had a friend named Big Red and Derek Lee used to rap on them too.
Okay.
But Archie Lee, and they was all around the same time around it. But when they started switching over to the SWISHA House stuff, Archie Lee and Lester Roy was the first ones. Really.
I'm gonna get back in my line of questioning, but who was the Eddie Kane guy, man? That boy was bad. You remember the guy used to sing like
I used to have him on the radio. Man, you know what's so crazy? Eddie Kane still has it, man. I used to play Eddie Kane songs on 97 down the box, right? And I got put on the Eddie Kane by Robert Bassman Washington.
Okay, I'm
rest in peace. Yeah, he put me on the Eddie Kane.
Yeah, that boy was bad.
Oh, he still is.
Man, that boy was bad. I used to hear him, and I was in the spot. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening. We had the radio up there, so I could hear.
Yeah.
And I was keeping up, but Eddie Kane was one of the boys that I tuned in to.
Yeah, Eddie Kane is cold, man.
Yeah,
that dude,
man.
That makes, like I said, he still makes good music.
So were you doing the Swisha House style of music when Lester was taking us on the road back then and you were DJing? Were you?
No, I wasn't then.
Not
That
at
was
that
the early
time?
90s. No, I was
Okay.
making regular speed mixtapes.
Okay.
And what was popular about my mixtapes back then, I was doing what people would call mashups today.
Okay.
I basically take something like Isaac Brothers, put drums behind
Right.
it, or Maze,
Right.
and put drums
Put
behind
drums
it,
on.
and make the remixes, and then people will bump them in their cars.
Okay. Mike Jones. I like Mike Jones. Mike Jones had a heck of a, I guess he would, I don't know if he would call it a marketing strategy.
That dude was a marketing genius.
That was genius. So he thought of that himself?
Yes, he did. As far as I know of, he thought of that
put
himself.
that together. Now, I always wanted to ask, was Still Tippin' Slim Thug song featuring Mike Jones, or was it a Mike Jones song?
Well, Still Tippin' was a Swisha House group song.
Okay, group song.
Yeah, so putting together Day Hell Broke Loose too, and that was one of the songs that was on that album.
That was on the album.
Yeah, it was just like Day Hell Broke Loose 1, right? Swisha House group song.
Right. So Swisha House, almost like a Wu-Tang type clan. So you had so many chambers, you had so many guys in one clip, but they were diverse, and everybody was their own entity, but they were all Swisha House. So
absolutely,
that's what it kind of reminded me of, because I would be hearing guys, I'm like, man, and them Kappas, they was the bomb, the Kappa tape. But how did you come up with the notion to say, man, we're gonna do something strictly for the Kappa?
You know what? I got put on the Kappa to the Kappa Beach Party. I was DJing with Lester.
Okay.
At the Kappa Beach Party.
Okay.
Right. And I was just so blown by that experience of being at the Kappa Beach Party.
Right.
That I always told my friends about, hey man, look, man, this Kappa Beach Party, we got to go there. I started putting everybody on it, right? So that next year, I made a mixtape dedicated to it, so we can jam it on the way to the Kappa Beach Party.
And it became a thing. And then y'all came with After the Kappa, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, all of the Swisha House collaborations or albums or mixtapes or whatever, each one of them is a classic. Those can be easily digital box sets.
And they should be,
and you should do that.
Yeah.
Digital box sets, some type of way, compile those entities, because people still checking for it.
Absolutely.
You know? And you know what, I don't know, stuff comes to me a lot. Even if you could somehow get like since it's a Wu-Tang type of thing, and I'm pretty sure still a lot of guys still around, do like a Swisha House versus amongst yourselves. You don't even need an outside entity. It could be Slim versus whoever, or such and such, and just,
that's a unique idea.
Yeah, you got enough, things happening within and those can be some box set type of avenues of adventure, and it can even be a what you would call a tour like thing, and put that out there, because there's still a lot of guys existing who still desire to maybe make moves and do other level things, and you guys are still pretty much, in the vein of things as far as the mindset of, making it happen, shows and DJing and, making, and you got Lester, you know what I mean? I think that would be a type of new age type of movement, because it's already in the groove with, people doing verses.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it, everybody's still here.
Right, yeah.
By the grace of God, everybody's still here.
And they still got their flow.
Yeah, exactly, Rhonda. Nobody missed the beat or anything,
I think that would be something to, just roll over in your mind, think about something. I don't know, stuff come to me, man, like that.
It's definitely something to be executed.
Yeah, because you've traveled the road already, and you've covered all the grounds. Everybody did what they done. There's nothing out of, even if you just episoded it, like when you was when y'all did the Kappa and people was on the top, and y'all, the elements are there, and now you can do it digitally.
Absolutely.
Have a spot, a place, put the stage up. People gonna tune in, because you still got people who appreciate Swisha House music.
Exactly.
And you still have your radio, access. It's doable, man. I think that'll be something.
Yeah. One thing I believe in, always extending opportunity for people. even like the same grace that I gave them, the opportunity that I gave those guys back in the day in the early 90s, early 2000s, I still bless artists today with that type of stuff, you know?
Exactly.
Like I'm on the radio right now. Shoot, I play Quiet Money Died. I play Fast Lane,
Right.
you know, and I still break people's stuff, you know? Right. You know, I believe in, you know, giving people that chance, you know what I mean? We got to plant seeds in order, you know, to grow new crops.
Exactly.
I'm the seed planter, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody need that opportunity to break it. Now I can't break everybody's stuff.
Right.
But of course, you know what I mean? If you got that fire, you hide on the street, I'm gonna give you that shot.
So it's an extension, like I said, an olive branch.
You know, one thing I grew into understanding what teamwork really is around that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I probably created a lot of stuff, but us as a team is the reason why Swish House grew to the level that it did, you know? We was a small team, but we was a strong team. You know what I'm saying?
It's strength in numbers.
Yeah, because like some people couldn't get the buzz that we had, and they had a freaking 100-man army.
Right. They didn't have that nucleus. They didn't have that bond.
Yeah.
They didn't have that family, like you said in the beginning.
Yeah, because one thing I believed in when we was doing the Swish House stuff, even before we started making real records and stuff, I wanted to create an opportunity for people to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
Like at the end of the day, those guys, these dudes, it was kids. They was in high school, you know what I mean? And all of them had cars and shit, apartments, and they didn't have to work, you know what I mean? They didn't have to sell dope, you know what I mean?
Was able to make a living. Being that it's a Wu-Tang type of entity, was Power and Chamillionaire signed to Swisha House, or were they their own thing? How did that work?
Chameleon never signed to us. Okay. But we ended up working a deal with Paul Wall.
Okay, Paul Wall.
Yes. He had the first album, The People's Champ.
The People's Champ. Yeah.
Get Money, Stay True.
Who was in the rain? In the rain?
Swinging in the Rain?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't on Swish House. Okay, that was on Paul's.
Okay, that was later.
That was on after
so
Swish House.
So that was later. Okay, yeah. Okay, but
Swinging in the Rain was after. You know what I mean? Okay. Like the song by Paul Wall that you know that was with us was Sitting Sideways.
Right. Okay.
Chunk Up the Deuce.
Right.
You know, On Patrol.
With him and Lil Kiki.
Busybody.
Okay, I remember Busybody.
Break Them Off.
The hardest ones to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
The hardest ones. Yeah. I remember I just couldn't kind of lock in which was which. I
want to give a shout out to T. Ferris, because T. Ferris had a lot to do with A&R and Paul's record, you know, and helping putting those projects together, you know.
T. Ferris. Okay. Now was T. Ferris one of your
yeah, T. Ferris was on the team.
He was T. Ferris was on the team?
Yeah. Okay, T. Ferris was A&R on those records.
Okay, A&R. Okay. Yeah. Is that I heard of the name T. Ferris.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy that is associated with Megan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's why I heard that name at. I didn't know he was Swisha House.
Yeah. He originally started over at Swisha House.
Okay, see, I didn't know that. Okay. So he was the A&R. Okay.
Yeah, he was A&R.
Okay, that's what's up. So how does parlaying the mixtape style work into going into mainstream? Is it production, or is it mixing and you making it happen? How would that factor into being a production? You know what I mean? Okay,
so look, when I make mixtapes, right, I do these mixtapes that's called like blends, right? Okay, everything runs seamlessly.
Okay.
Right. So when I put together a project, I try to make it as seamless as possible, you know, especially when I'm doing my slow down Swish House remixes. It's just like a regular speed DJ mix that you would hear on the radio or something like that, but it's slowed down.
So when I'm saying, do you add your own drums, or do you just, you know what I mean?
Sometimes I'll add my own drums to it. Sometimes I'll mash up two records that's on it.
Because I'm just trying to see how the scene would stay steady. It seemed like it would, you put your own type of flavor to the bottom of it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what I was trying to understand.
A lot of times, man, I put a bass line in stuff that doesn't have a bass line. I'll swap it out around there. Cause like my stuff is it's like a DJ mix, you know, and I have my own style of mixing. If you listen to my stuff don't sound like everybody else.
Right. That's why I was asking that.
I got my own unique style of it, you know, and sometimes I'll actually go in there and go add drums to it and stuff like that. Sometimes I swap the bass line from there. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's what I was trying to understand. I know sometimes people do mixtapes, it just be pre-existing as opposed to adding a production to it.
Absolutely.
So that's why I was trying to, did you add the production to it, and how did that make a transition, you know what I mean, with it being still smooth going from mixtape to major? Would you have to change anything, or would you?
It depends on the project that I'm doing. So like a lot of times I do remixes for other people, and I'm limited to what they give me, so I have to just use the music that they have there. Right. So of course, because that won't mess up their publishing and all this stuff they got, producing credits and all that type of stuff, and their breakdowns and splits.
Just know it now. You have to know the gift, have that talent to do it, and know how to make it happen.
Absolutely. I just stay in their boundaries. I hate it, but I do it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's business.
Yeah.
You know. So was that? I think that was Magno when they had that song. Him and who was it? It's Magno. Was that Mike Jones?
Because I know Mike Jones and Magno put together a project called First Round Draft Picks.
I think that's the song I heard. I didn't hear the whole thing because while limited access, it was
Was it the one with the guy singing in the background? Yo, lady.
Yeah, that was
the name of the song was called Couldn't.
That was good. Yeah, that was somebody came up with something.
Salih produced that track.
Man, that's the track that stand out to me like the Still Tipping.
Yeah, Salih produced Still Tipping.
Yeah, that's okay. That's something, man. I know I them two right there, because I'm attracted. I like Magno. I used to like his flow. I like all of them, but Magno
had
stood
his
out.
own style around there. He had kind of like he's a lyricist.
Right.
You know, if you're a lyricist type person around there, you would like Magno because you had these
like
catchy punchlines.
Yeah.
And wordplay from that mug, you know.
Yeah.
And you wasn't getting that from Houston-based artists at that time.
He was beast, man. I used to like that. Yodel lady. Yeah, that was a joint. Okay, so how were you, or what opened the opportunity or allowed for you and Kiki to be able to unite and him be a part of Swisha House, coming from the South, being that type of turmoil existed in the realm of Houston-based music?
T. Ferris.
Okay.
And Dash put that together. You know what I mean? That's how he ended up coming over here and working with us over here at Swisha House, right? Because Kiki was in the jam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he needed to get out of the jam.
Right. I remember him saying he was on the run or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the story is, but I know that he was in the jam, and we gave him the opportunity, you know.
Okay.
And we was there for him, man, when he needed us, you know. So, and I always been a big Kiki fan, so, you know, when Dash came to me with it, man, so of course I'm down with it, you know.
How did you, because it was like two different atmospheres coming together to make a hit. How did y'all get Baby on the song?
Again, I tell you, T. Ferris don't get enough credit.
But it was like
T. Ferris put that together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? T. Ferris one got Baby on there. You know what I mean? And as far as I know, I think that's the only record that Baby featured on that wasn't on his own label.
Right. Okay.
I think it's if I'm not mistaken, that's the only thing he featured on that wasn't on his own label.
It was like kind of shocking, but it was nice, you know, because I was like, Kiki and Baby, you know, it was nice though. I liked it. So
it was nice.
I always wanted to know that. You know, things be in people's head that listen to music. And a lot of people have questions that they can't ask because they don't know.
Yeah, exactly, man. And with that stunt of that right there, that was really amazing. Mm-hmm. One thing that I believed in doing was giving the people the opportunity to build bridges.
Right.
You know, and that definitely was a bridge build.
Yeah, because that opens up the door for the next level.
Yeah. And even with that whole opportunity that was extended to Kiki, it's a bridge builder. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, with the North and South around there. And I knew in my heart that Kiki was definitely going to get some flack, you know, behind working with us on this project, because, you know, when it come down to Screw and Swisha House, it's like two different religions, you know what I mean, to a lot of people. And I knew that people was going to be like, hey, you know, going to give them a little flack.
It's the opposite reverse, because almost everybody, Lil J had signed to Rap A Lot was from the South Side almost, with the exceptions of the Fifth Ward Boys.
Yeah, but but the difference between Rap A Lot and us around here, right? We're credited for North Side culture. Screw is credited for South Side culture. Right, you know what I mean? Right. So when you think about Rap A Lot, you didn't just think of them as just being a North Side culture type thing around there, right? We always knew that Jay always, you know, with South Side and Scarface and all that type of stuff around there. And of course, they didn't really take it as
a disrespect or a diss or nothing like that.
Yeah, it wasn't. People didn't have that such a territorial type mind frame then. You know?
Well, I was just something that came to my mind because I was like, right. Well, Ghetto Boy. You know, I don't know what Bruce was, but that was it. Just came as a kind of a flip side similarity thing to my mind. Yeah. Okay. So, had you guys ever signed any female artists?
There was a couple of female artists. You know, and they were. I really feel like they were before their time.
Mm-hmm.
This is before the female artist explosion happened. You know, we had Surreal signed. Also, I cannot think of what her name is. We had a couple of them. Hazel E. had signed with us for a while. There was an artist by the name of Charlene Renee. Trinity, Miss Trinity.
I remember Trinity.
That was before that time. You know, that's before the women explosion came.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it was a little early.
Yeah, it was a little early, you know?
Right.
And especially from down south out here in Houston around there, you know, we really didn't have that lane form right there, you know?
It wasn't like New Orleans where, you know,
no, it wasn't like that yet, you know what I mean? They were signed right before the women explosion happened.
Right. So how were you guys able to manufacture and distribute? You guys had a deal working that y'all could get your stuff out there?
We started doing our own manufacturing and distribution because we didn't have no fucking deal. You know what I mean? Before the album and stuff with the mixtapes and stuff. That's the thing that made us so powerful, that we was actually manufacturing, distributing our own stuff. You know what I mean? So we weren't limited to shit. You know what I mean?
So that was right around the time when you was able to press your CDs and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's they call them towers or something?
The birth of the CD.
Yeah. I think, and that's probably what had Gillum them fade out, huh?
I'm pretty sure.
You guy over there at not saying y'all, but just the era of it.
Yeah, that
Southwest Wholesale.
Yeah, it hurt them, but I think the real death of the distributors like that was the MP3s.
Okay,
that was the real death of them to me.
Right. Okay. So there's many different levels of that music, man. Being that moves through a device now in this era and age is the masterful time of working music. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to press, you don't have to package, you just have to be present, like let's say visual, the eyes. So okay, how did you go about doing your movements or your tours? Did you pick dates or did you just work out things with clubs? How were you able to get the guys on stage and out and about to be in the public side?
Okay, so I used to go on the road and DJ parties, right? So I had a fan base when I used to go DJ parties on the road with Lester. Okay. So what I used to do, I used to go and start doing my own events and concerts and stuff, and a lot of these places and stuff, we used to call it the chitlin circuit.
Right.
So when I had the guys rapping on the tapes with me, I would go take the guys to the shows with me until they started building their own fan base. And when they started getting popular and everything, they started doing their own shows.
Okay.
So it's crazy, man. Like when I used to go DJ all these places, what I would do, I would bring mixtapes with me. So I would be selling mixtapes at every place I would go to. And this is all over Texas and Louisiana back in the day, and Arkansas.
So being that you could press your own stuff, did you ever have the mind to wholesale any of it to guys so they can?
Yeah. That's how everybody came up. That's how the guys had money, because the fact that, you know, everybody get their boxes and stuff you needed, you know.
So to be honest, how could one fail? No, I'm saying you can't. You understand?
You gotta realize they were Slim Thug and these guys, they were kids, and they were eating. You know what I'm saying?
It's a foolproof plan.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, man, when Slim started doing his own independent stuff around there, man, he was in his early 20s.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, if he was 21, right. You know what I mean? That's how successful the plan was.
And to me, this is just my own assumption. He didn't even really need to go the Pharrell direction. He could have just kept doing Slim.
You know, but it worked out for him. Right. It catapulted his brand of himself to a whole completely different level.
Okay.
I think it was a great idea. Yeah, you know, I didn't like a lot of the music on that project around there, but it was a great move for him to get that exposure to the next level, you know.
He went on. Slim been doing it, man.
Absolutely, man. You know.
Man, so I hear now his tags when he make music, goddamn Sam. Yeah. Is that a guy that's in y'all camp or?
No. That's somebody that's in Slim camp.
Okay.
You know, Sam, he's his DJ and he's actually a producer. So right. Yeah, the goddamn Sam, those are tracks that Sam produced.
And you know what's ironic? I don't know if Lester know. Do you know that's Romeo Poet's son, Lester?
You know what? I heard
that's Romeo Poet's son.
Sam.
On Slim's
DJ
production.
Sam.
Goddamn Sam. Yeah. And I went to school with, so me and Romeo, cool. And Mom and me went to school together. And the dude she's married to now went to school with us. So I was like, I didn't know that until I started hearing the tag and me and Romeo talk. He was like, man, that's my son, that's Julian. Sam Mercer Jr. So, but it's like I said, it's so small that it works and circulates that you didn't know that people were around and in certain areas.
That's crazy, man. You know what? And I heard Romeo Poet was his dad around there, but I actually forgot it. And I just, you just reminded me of that. You know what I mean? And it's so crazy, man. These legends, man, that was back in the day and seeing how their influencing their kids and seeing their kids carry on the torch and keep the entertainment going out here. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. He says, stay alive and free. I heard Lil Kiki say that. The best thing happening is alive and free. If you can stay alive and stay free, boy, you can do anything, man.
Oh, yeah.
Sky's the limit. You know what I mean? So, what are any new things on the horizon with you guys at the Swisha House, or is it any projects that you working with? Or
my biggest thing is I'm putting together a documentary.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I want people to understand exactly what's coming on from it, because everybody is guessing and they're getting pieces of the story. Right. But, I want people to get the story from the heart, you know what I mean? Right. And what was going on around it, because, from the rooter to the tutor around that. So I'm definitely going to do a documentary on that, and, and then people know exactly what is going on now, because a lot of people don't know the history of it. And, and I want the guys to be able to tell their end of the stories and everything like that, and exactly what we did and what we going through, and, let them know what we're about,
Exactly. So they can hear it right from the horse's mouth. And because a lot of stories are closely related to other stories, and you didn't even know that story was happening,
Because there's a lot of stuff about me that a lot of people don't even know,
right?
So I want to just do this right here, cut out all of these misconceptions about what people would think about, what's going on at the Swisha House around there, and just, put it flat out online for people to know. It's going to be very educational for people.
Right. And it needs to be, man, because you have new people coming in with half-truths or mistold stories or second and third party stories.
Yeah.
From other people who weren't even there.
Yeah, they weren't there.
Because people, I heard such, I heard. And if that's not that's not true. You just heard that from somebody who ran with it because they believed in somebody who they heard it from. That's not true.
It's almost like the blind racist around here. I don't like black people because my grandpa don't like.
Right, exactly. So you don't have your own mind. You're just an unconscious racist. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you use Techniques turntables?
Absolutely.
What was the other brand that they had? This is an off the cuff question, but I always wanted to know that because I wasn't a DJ, but I was always intrigued. They had
Audio Technica? I don't know.
It was another.
I use Techniques. Okay. That's what I do. You know what I mean? Okay. But another thing that I did that was innovative is I started learning how to mix with CD players.
Okay.
So I was blending and mixing with CDs and stuff because it got to a point where when the CD era came out, all of the new music was coming out on CDs before you get it on vinyl because it was faster to press it that way. Right. So, and that, when I was at the radio station, a lot of the hits, they probably would give a limited amount of, say at the radio station, they probably give 10 or 20 copies or whatever, right?
Right.
I'm not the type of person to go to the radio station every day. So by the time I go there, all the good stuff is picked out.
Right.
So what I would do, I'll
take in the crates.
Yeah, I'll get the CD. Another thing that I would do is this. I would take the songs that people were playing on the street and I would edit them myself. They wouldn't have radio edits. I edit them and play them on the air.
So that was a creation that you put into play other people start picking up.
I've been doing that shit since the Rap A Lot days. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing Ghetto Boys album cuts and all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Fifth Ward Boys, all this type of stuff. Like a lot of the stuff that you will hear from the Screwed Up Click and the mixes and stuff like that, I'm the one that made the edge to.
Right. So you always had that innovative ability to make it happen.
See, I try to go forward, man. I do this for the culture. And when I do what I do, I don't just do it for the North Side. I do it for the culture of the city. That's the whole reason why I started doing like the great tape mix and stuff like that. I would take the Screw freestyles, edit them, and I play them on the air. And when people call the radio station, I tell them to go get it from Screwed Up Records and Tapes.
Right. All right. So you plug it so they can go in there and get it. Be authentic.
I'll play that shit just like I'll play Switch House stuff on the radio. Because for me, I look at it this like I do this for the culture as a whole. You know, we don't have a real outlet that really expresses our culture. And I have the opportunity to express our culture. So I take advantage of that and express our culture.
100. That's right. That's right. Question. How did a lot of the guys who were in the Swisha House circumference manage to be a lot from Gulf Bay? How did that come?
Well, our biggest record store was on Gulf Bank and Antoine, right? Selective Sounds.
Right. Okay.
So me and Ron were DJing this place called the All Star. Every weekend, we would let the guys rap. So if it was somebody that rapped and I liked them, I'll let them come over to the house and rap on the mixtape.
Right.
The first person from the All Star that came and rapped on one of my mixtapes was Little Mario.
Okay.
Little Mario brought Slim Thug. And brought J-Dog, you know, and then everybody just came in from there, you know.
Okay. I've recently, I don't know if he's still rap or not, 50-50 Twin.
He does rap.
He still rap?
He still got it too.
Okay.
I was just in the studio with him a week ago.
He's real close to one of my partner's brothers that passed away. I didn't, I hadn't got a chance to really sit and talk with him about what I passed with him, but I didn't talk to him about rap, some more, but I wanted to know, because I know I used to like PJ, the Rap Hustler too as well. Was PJ Swisha House or was?
Yeah. They actually had their own label. Okay. He was working with his, I don't know if it was his uncle. The name was Lamont. You know, Lamont used to have a club in Fifth Ward. I used to DJ after hours.
Now check this. In my university hiatus, Lamont was with me.
Oh, okay.
He was over there. We used to read music publishing books like this, $3,000-$4,000 books, learn and hitting a lot of library, looking up Mike Tyson versus HBO, Jay-Z versus, learning, because we was music, Lamar, Burks, Lamont. Yeah, I remember he gave PJ that BMW, the blue one. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, we stayed around each other, but, that's when I was moving around with, working with Lester, but I didn't know he was rapping at the time.
Yeah. Lamont put me on PJ.
It wasn't until I later left, and then I started hearing, because it's ironic when Slim Sister came and was like, "Ella, you gotta let my brother." I'm like, well, so I had to end up going, turning myself in, and I end up being on seeing the video, because I was like, I don't know, dude say, "Man, you got a homeboy that is home, that boy go off," and Slim Thug. I'm like, I don't know no Slim Thug. I looked up there, it's him and ESG, brazen face. I'm like, them boys going hard. But it was it's a lot of talent around the circumference of one area. I'm sure even with Rosewood and even with Homestead, it's lots of talent in the incubator, man, that's still ready even for the digital age with the tutelage of, the predecessors like yourself to take it to the next level,
There's a lot of talent out. There's a lot of talent everywhere. But there's a lot of people don't get blessed with that opportunity to grow, or they don't have the mind frame to be successful.
That's the main thing, because I didn't have it. I gotta keep saying it, man.
I didn't
have it.
So many talented people that do not have the mind frame of being successful. They're not this.
It's called self-sabotage, subconsciously, You get to a point to where you want to take yourself out, almost like some Lynn Bias type stuff with, no disrespect, but how do you get, and then it's like inner it's like you stopping yourself or hindering yourself. And I can only say that I didn't know him and I don't know what he was battling, but for myself, by being in connection with, Lester and seeing where this bro going. And I'm still doing this because I didn't have the mind. So it wasn't for me at that time. You could knock yourself out of your blessings or miss your blessings because you follow fool's gold. You know what I mean? So I think mentorship right now today is necessary, and it's happening a lot, the right mentorship, because now these mentorships are milky to death. They'll take everything you got and you won't know too much about nothing before you leave.
I think there's something that we all got to learn, Ron, and this is something I had to learn, right? It's discipline. Me not having a proper discipline in myself stopped me from growing to the level that I know I should be on.
Right.
That's something I work on myself. I'll be accountable for that. You know what I mean? Because without discipline, you can't be successful. Right. It's not about the fucking talent. Right. You can be really disciplined and focused around that, and you can have a little bit of talent and make a lot of money.
Make a lot of grounds cover too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you what's so crazy. I remember meeting Southport Mexican back in the day, right? And I think there was a club called Pyramid or whatever, right? So he would come over there with his mixtapes and stuff. He'd come over, hey, Watts, man, listen to this. So I sat in the car and listened to the tape. The first time he let me listen, I fell asleep in this man's face. I fell asleep in the car listening to this man's music. And I fell asleep in this man's face, straight up. You know what I mean?
Just not it.
I didn't like it. Right. But but the crazy thing, ironic about him, he's working so hard. Man, when I saw him again, he act like that shit never happened. Right. Most people be like, man, I'm not finna fuck with him. Right. You know what I mean? Man, he don't respect me like that. But no, he kept working. You know what I mean? He kept working, and I started playing this stuff.
He grew, like you say.
Exactly. He deserved it. You know what I mean? Like even at that point, Ron, he grew into a successful artist. Right. That was his beginning. But he kept working until he got it right and became successful. He built this team.
Until he got
it right. And so too many people, they give up too early. You know what I mean? You got to work for it. Nobody's going to give it to you.
Yeah. I had a teacher who used to always tell me, I didn't know what he was saying. Son, perseverance. He said it to me every day. I ain't know what he was talking about. But later on in life, I found myself being about things, persevering, nonstop. Even right now with what I'm doing, people who I was at a barbershop in the back. I was, I think, a little bit before the time. It was like 2009, 10 when I came, and I was trying to put the guys on, but it was because of what I read, what I was telling you, and it wasn't on the land yet. Because I learned a lot of times lawmakers create laws that hang in the back as bills before they become. So you can have these things that are about to even go from phono record, CD, digital download, I'm reading these things, but I'm not seeing these things. So when I got to the ground, that's when Powwow and them Chameleon was hitting the ringtones heavy, and MySpace was going off. When I had read about these things, so I was trying to, you know what I mean? But to make a long story short, to be able to, like you say, discipline. So from then, I started calling Lester then. Hey man, I know he was hearing me like, yeah, man, but I hear you, but do you know how many other people I hear? He didn't have to just verbally say it. I understood it. So I continued. So like when we were talking and he was saying, you have to change with those times and with those things. So here I am. I ain't trying to do that. I'm staying relevant with it because it's in me and it's what I love to do. So I learned discipline, you know what I mean? By sitting and talking with a mind like Lamont and other people who had maybe missed the marks at that, but they had a significance where they were to come here and be able to share these stories because, a lot of letters we used to write home, saying, people, you in there reading them books, you think you're smart, but now you see people throwing videos of the same letters we wrote, nobody was listening to, but they hanging on there every word with millions of views. We've tried to tell y'all that, you know what I mean? And it's ironic, but the message is going to get out there regardless of what form it's in. But right now, this is the way to get it out there. And that documentary going to sound like it's going to do very well, man, to educate the people and open eyes for people to really appreciate what the Swisha House brought to the game to help so many young lives miss being incarcerated or taken off the map. Even with, Lester from the 90.9 all the way on, people, y'all was saving lives, man. Just being yourselves.
Yeah.
You know, some people wanted to just valet themselves off the map. You know, some people that's what they wanted to do. But you guys are lifesavers, man.
Man, a lot of times, man, people don't realize, man, we're God's vessels.
Yeah.
You know, my blessings come from God.
Right.
God allowed me to bless other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really limit that stuff around there, man. As long as God has me over here, I'm going to try to bless people that deserve it. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Right.
If I believe in something, I'm going to help you. You know, like it's people shit, man. I play and I don't even fuck with them. I don't. Right. You know what I mean? It's just because I believe in it. You know what I mean?
Right. You got the thing that it's doable. You know, it sounds. You know, you got the sound. Unlike the stuff you fall asleep on, you got to at least have the package.
Yeah, but you know what? But that didn't stop me from helping.
Right.
That did not stop me from helping.
You like that.
Some people worked so hard they deserved it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like another person, like I wasn't a big fan of Trey music, right? But I was a big fan of his grind. The man was grinding so hard that you could not deny this man. You couldn't. On the cool, if you see how this man work around here as hard as he was working back then, shit, man, that's crazy, man. I used to have him on my show. He was on my radio show and everything before all this crazy radio shit happened to him, you know? But shit, man, and today I still play a song sporadically every now and then, you know what I mean? Because the man worked for it, you know what I mean? And at that time, around there, the man was working for it.
Yeah, man, diligence, bro.
Absolutely, man. That's what this stuff is all about, man. Persistence, man.
Diligence.
You know, we help people, man. It's our duty, man. It's God's work, you know?
A lot of people, you know, I heard Martin Luther King said on a thing I listened to, the drum major instinct. They want to be the first and the only. You know, I ain't trying to hear what you got going on. I'm trying to do what I'm doing. You know, once you lead a band, you ain't got no sound. You just a dude with a stick. You ain't got no style. But what they say, one band, one sound. So, man, I know I could go on and on forever because there's so many things I would love to ask. But I want to say this in closing. I appreciate you, man, for coming, taking the time out to sit with me today, because that means a lot, you know, because like you say, you could have been anywhere. And I appreciate the brother Bless for, you know, accompanying you and coming as well, man. And hopefully we can participate in other things, you know, together down the line that may, you know, be suitable to touch other lives and help each other with, you know, whatever course it is we running, man. You know, I want to let you know that I appreciate it. And I'm swishing for life. You feel me? I'm rocking with it for sure. You know, I don't want to, there's certain things I want to ask, but I don't want to, you know, I don't want to go to
the left on things on there.
I don't want to go technical to
it's all good.
A lot of people asking, you know, I think we did, you know, good right here. And I'm appreciative to you, brother. I'm glad to see you up at Boozing, man, and you still staying with it, brother, persevering, you know what I mean?
And trying to do it,
That's
man.
what it's all about, man.
I got blessed people's lives in a whole different thing. We got to take this on to a whole different level.
A whole nother level, man.
You know, God don't have us here to waste it. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
You know, I want to be able to bless people. You know,
really?
Take it to another level. You know, that's how. You know, check this out. You're a big Swish House fan. You missed the classic stuff. So look, I got a Swish House app. All the classic stuff you used to jam your cars back then. You're a real Swish House fan. I have all those classic mixtapes on the Swish House app. You can't get them on Spotify. You can't stream them on YouTube and all that stuff. But you can hear all that stuff on the Swish House app. Also, if you're a Swish House fan, the merch is on swishhouse.com.
Well, once again, you guys, we want to say thank you for coming out and viewing PGTV Podcast, where we bring you real live stories from real live people, one episode at a time. So we're going to sign off and say peace.